Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ango Show live. It is April 4th. There is a little bit of echo. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was a rookie mistake. It's April 4th, 2025. We're talking about AEW Dynasty and really whatever else frickin' comes to mind, right? Because that's kind of how we just do things on the Ango Show. We just kind of talk and talk and talk. And I'm really excited about today's show. I think, we've been having some very healthy conversations lately. I feel like really just between me and Billy, we have really tapped into an awesome show. I feel like we just really found that chemistry of delivering a great program, and it just makes me excited doing this every day at 12 p.m. So if you guys are watching, we're live on my channel, Billy's channel, and Twitch. Apparently, I got banned on TikTok for live streaming. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. So it is what it is. But Silly Billy's here. Shout out to Billy.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about AEW Dynasty, and I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody being here. We have a super chat goal. If you guys would like to help support the show, it's definitely appreciated. Beginning of the month, things are looking great. Channel's doing great. The live streams are great. A lot of fun stuff happening right now, currently as it stands. And
great.
Yeah, I'm just excited, man. Honestly, I'm just really, really excited, and I don't know. There's just so much more excitement about AEW these days, which I feel is kind of interesting because for a while it wasn't like that. But
it's nice to see it getting back on track.
Yeah, and I hope it kind of sticks around for a long time. But of course, you never really know with AEW. So
correct.
Yeah, I don't know, Billy.
Ango,
what's up, buddy?
Not much. What's going on, man?
Not much. I was just fixing the title of the stream. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if YouTube is like notifying people, and I think that's kind of a little bit of an issue. Like YouTube isn't lately. It just seems like not everybody's getting
notified about our stream.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody here. Billy, this is an interesting card because as of right now, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches. We don't know what's on 0 hour, so obviously we got Collision tomorrow. I'm sure AEW will notify us of some more matches. But as of right now, it's actually a very solid card. Some matches have better builds than others. Some matches I think are going to be a lot better than others. As it stands right now, AEW is projected to have almost 7,000 tickets sold. So, definitely a little bit of intrigue there, right? I think some people are interested, but, yeah.
Like I said, I think the show overall will do well, because of, like the main event and stuff like that. I genuinely think like right now where they stand, like, I don't think it's going to necessarily, like, I think they'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you think so?
I do. I think they're going to be okay this weekend. I know I'm going to tune in.
Yeah.
Enjoy my Sunday night.
Yeah. I mean, it's the truth is it's pay-per-views for AEW always tend to go pretty well, so I think that should be relatively good, obviously, but we'll see. You never know with AEW. It's hard to say. I feel like their pay-per-views are relatively awesome, and then their TV, like the go-home show and the show after, typically do bad. But who knows? This is, like I said, the last month-ish has been really good for AEW in terms of TV. Some people don't agree with me, but I do think they have been a lot better than what they were before. That's for sure. So... yeah, a lot of matches on this card. They're going to add more. That's how Tony Khan does things. The pay-per-view's on Sunday. I would love to do a post-show if you're down.
Of course.
Yeah, that sounds great. I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we should just kind of start talking about the show.
Let's just jump into it.
Phil said there's 10 matches. I see 9, so maybe I'm tripping. But if I miss one... if there's one that I'm missing, somebody let us know, and then we'll predict that as well. But the first match that I actually want to predict, Billy, is the one that is like... it's such a strange situation for me because this particular match is something where... like, I'm glad it is happening on an AEW pay-per-view. However, I do feel like... I feel like we are at the stage where... this is going to lead to a massive breakup. So I want to kick things off with Chris Jericho versus Bandido.
Okay.
It's the ROH World Championship match. It's the mask versus title. Bandido, former ROH World Champion. Chris Jericho, current ROH World Champion. There's been a lot of talks about Chris Jericho being ROH champion because, Tony Khan was trying to get ROH a TV deal. I've heard significant stories of different TV networks being interested in ROH. Now, we haven't heard anything since. I haven't got an update that ROH was actually going to get the TV deal done. But there was some rumors of some smaller companies, smaller TV networks willing to get ROH out there. Yeah. I don't know if Tony Khan is going to do that, but I'm going to assume for all intents and purposes that Bandido is walking out of Dynasty as ROH World Champion, and the Learning Tree will disband at this pay-per-view.
Really?
Yeah. I think Chris Jericho losing, and then I think, obviously, there's another match that we will have to predict, and I'll tie it into that, but I think Jericho losing... I think Chris Jericho at this point, with Learning Tree and everything, I don't think he's being utilized the way he should be. I think we need a much more serious Chris Jericho, and it would be a really big win for Bandido to go over Chris Jericho. I don't see AEW or Tony Khan taking off Bandido's mask and having him go unmasked and stuff like that. I would be very, very shocked if that were the case.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see him taking off his mask. I do predict that Bandido will win here, but my overall thought process is they're not going to break up the Learning Tree. They kind of have are just now starting to catch a grip of what that is and trying to piece it together and stuff like that. So my thought process is that there's not going to be any type of dismantling of the Learning Tree, because I can imagine you'll tie it into the tag team match and stuff like that. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Which actually I think that's a perfect segue into the tag team match, because we have the Hurt Syndicate versus Big Bill and Bryan Keith, and I just don't think they're ready to take the belts off the Hurt Syndicate. I think the Hurt Syndicate are definitely they're definitely walking out as champions, and then I think really this is an opportunity for AEW to press the reset button with the Learning Tree. Two of the factions that they have on TV currently just isn't entertaining. I don't think they're really progressing the company forward. I think the Learning Tree, regardless of the audience, I think the casuals, I think your hardcores, I think your sickos, I think a lot of people are tired of it. So when you say that they're kind of getting a grip on it, I genuinely don't believe it is productive for Chris Jericho in that role. And
that's fair. That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that thought.
And I think it would be really dope for Big Bill and for Bryan Keith to lose the match, but for them to actually stick together, but for them to turn on Chris Jericho. So I actually would like to think that maybe Chris Jericho... you could kind of do a post-match thing, right? Chris Jericho and Bandido, I don't know where they're placed on the match with the ROH title, but you can have the tag title match happen after, and then Chris Jericho could walk out after Big Bill and Bryan Keith lose, and he could kind of confront him. Chris Jericho has done that in the past where he confronts somebody who's losing, and then they can beat the hell out of Chris Jericho, and that can kind of press the reset button moving forward.
For sure. Maybe I could see something like that happening. I'm not necessarily opposed to that.
Well, and as you've heard me say many times, I think if you're going to have a pay-per-view, and AEW does a really good job of doing pay-per-views and having great matches at pay-per-views, but if you want to get me excited about TV, your job is to produce some stories or some moments on this pay-per-view that will get me excited. And listen, I like Chris Jericho. I think a lot of people in the IWC really just turned on Chris Jericho because of maybe the political views and shit like that. I don't know. But I don't care about that. I care about Chris Jericho, a performer. I think even at his age, I think he is still a great performer. I just think the Learning Tree is
I'll be honest, I'm tired of Chris. I mean, that's just me personally. I am genuinely tired of him. But again, that's just my own thing.
But are you tired of him because of the booking? Are you tired of him because of the way he's been positioned? Because we had a conversation yesterday about Inner Circle being great. You know what I mean? So if Chris Jericho was doing something like that of that nature, would your opinion have been a little bit different? Or are you saying this because you genuinely believe hey man, I'm just kind of over it?
I think it was just more or less of being over it.
Okay. Do you think a lot of people would agree with you on that?
Oh, yeah, I feel like a nice sentiment of people would. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand the history of Chris Jericho and why people appreciate Chris Jericho, but I think overall, where we're at in this day and age, I don't know. I'm not on board with necessarily what he's doing. But like you said a moment ago, when the inner circle was around, it was kind of easier to get on board. I think there was a lot of momentum. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, the learning tree has so here's the thing: they're getting a grip on it, but it's still kind of hard and still kind of difficult to find that momentum. But who knows?
It's interesting, man. I'm curious to see which direction they choose to take it. That's for sure.
For sure, absolutely.
I definitely have Hurt Syndicate retaining. Now, the question that I have for you is, we keep hearing about a potential new member in the group. Believe it or not, MJF
Cedric
is not.
Alexander.
Well, so here's the thing: Cedric Alexander, I think, is obviously he's a very obvious choice, but we don't have MJF on the card. So, what are you thinking about maybe MJF having something to do with the Hurt Syndicate here?
I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see him get involved at all, post-match, during the match, pre-match?
I mean, you can have him get involved. I think after this, I don't really want to see necessarily, there's intrigue to it, but I think at the end of the day, it's all to kind of pursue that Cedric Alexander thing, like I was saying a second ago. And I think the best thing to maybe do that is maybe you could have MJF feud with Cedric Alexander. But again, MJF is currently one of my worries, as I think his shtick is getting a little old.
Yeah.
I know that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I think his shtick is just, it's starting to play out. It's starting to get played out a little bit. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I agree with you on that. I don't,
why?
but I'm gonna explain why, right?
Yeah.
I do agree that his shtick in terms of the gimmick, the constant, I feel like MJF needs to evolve a little bit. However, I don't know exactly what they're doing with MJF. I feel like it's a little bit criminal that he's not on this card. But I think MJF, when I say I disagree with you, I think it's a result of AEW not finding a position for MJF that is more elevated currently.
Yeah, but show. I think if they're continuing that stick, it's kind of hard to find that pattern. You know what I mean? Because you have to understand, as a heel, right? He's doing the same old thing. It's getting repetitive. It really is. And don't get me wrong, I love MJF. I love everything about the guy, except that this has now been played out. You have to understand, we are going on 5 years of this. That's a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I can almost understand why he doesn't have a place on this card, because really he's not exciting anymore. It's not fun. It's not enthusiastic. What?
You're saying MJF is not exciting?
No, not right now. No, I don't think so.
Okay. That's interesting to me. That is interesting to me, because there's parts of it where I agree, but I think it's not MJF the person who's not exciting. I think MJF is not in a meaningful feud. So now let me position this to you. What if, let's just call this a little bit of a swerve per se. Let's say my prediction of Big Bill. Intended. Yeah, right. Big Bill and Bryan Keith, let's just say they win the match because of MJF costing Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. There's a purpose for this. Bobby Lashley was not designed to be a tag team wrestler within AEW. I think we can all agree. I think most people would agree that Bobby Lashley should be a singles guy, a singles performer, right? However, what if MJF were to come out, pretend to join the Hurt Syndicate, low blow, something like that, ref thing. Big Bill and Bryan Keith end up winning the match. This causes... Hold on. They're great, bro. Big Bill and Bryan Keith are great. But have them win the match, but there's a reason for it. Because you mentioned Cedric Alexander. So what if this led to MVP having them they drop the belts? MVP says, Bobby, I want you to bring us singles gold. And don't worry, I took care of this. You're going to go after MJF, and you're going to leave the rest of the business to me. I found a new partner for Shelton Benjamin. And that could be, this is the way to kind of reset the tag team division. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin.
You think resetting the tag team division with Big Bill and Bryan Keith is the route to go?
So here's the thing. It would make more sense if they were to win the championships without Chris Jericho's help. After Chris Jericho lost the ROH World Championship, and they can say, hey, we don't need you anymore. And they can go and do their thing with the tag team division. But hear me out.
And we also have to remember that Cedric Alexander is still under that 90-day compete clause.
Correct. But this would be the thing where MVP for, they bring in different guys, or they come in with different ideas of, okay, who can we bring in as Shelton Benjamin's tag team partner? But then you have a scenario where Bobby Lashley goes to have a major singles feud with MJF.
Okay.
Would that be more exciting for you, for MJF to be in an actual singles feud like that is
with Bobby Lashley?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still don't know, because you have to understand you're still doing the cliche stick thing with MJF.
Well, that's going to be, so that for sure is MJF's character, and his character needs to evolve, but through these feuds you can find a way to evolve.
Yeah, for sure.
Then when the time comes, when you want Shelton Benjamin to hold the tag team title, you do it with him and Cedric. You build up the tag team division with him and Cedric, Private Party, the Young Bucks, hopefully return. You got the Undisputed Kingdom, you got Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, that kind of thing. This is an interesting matchup, though, to me, because it's like, okay, well, what do you want to prioritize? Do you want to prioritize the Learning Tree, or do you want to prioritize the Hurt Syndicate? And I feel like at this point, the Learning Tree would be better off without Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho could go do his own thing, and then you can get him away from the ROH belt as well, which would be very, very meaningful and helpful. And then you have Bobby Lashley shouldn't be a tag team champion, but he was only there because they didn't actually have somebody for Shelton. And Bobby was never the tag team champion, even in WWE with Shelton. It was always him and Cedric. So I do think that opens up the doors where it's like, hey, you can really prioritize not only the Hurt Syndicate, but you could prioritize Bobby Lashley as a singles guy. Eventually, Bobby Lashley can go off and do his thing where, realistically, Bobby Lashley could go do single stuff. He could go after the TNT Championship, which I think would be a very, very, very smart decision at some point. Maybe even the World Championship. However, like I know somebody said in the chat, MVP. And I don't believe MVP is going to be wrestling a lot, but I do think you can have MVP and Shelton Benjamin tag team until they find somebody, right? Which is Cedric, once his 90 days is up. And then I think that's the better priority, because then your tag team division could get back on track. I think you're killing three birds with one stone. The tag team division gets back on track. There's a meaningful storyline now within the tag team division. Big Bill and Brian Keith are really two good wrestlers who should be rewarded.
We're just going to have to disagree on that one, because I do not think they should win.
You don't think they're good wrestlers?
I don't think they should win. I never said that I think that they're bad wrestlers. I don't know.
Okay.
I just don't think they should win. I don't think their momentum is there.
Listen, I agree, but they didn't win because they were better. They won because of MJF, and that's the logic.
That's where you get the story. Got it.
You have to have MJF screw them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Sure.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I still think her Syndicate are winning, but I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I was about to say I stand on the Hurt Syndicate winning.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Owen Hart Cup tournament. We have Mercedes Mone versus Julia Hart.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talked about this yesterday with predictability and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is the one thing that I disliked.
Yeah. What's your prediction for this match?
Mercedes. I mean, I think that's a simple answer, right?
Yeah.
That's like if you want to shock people, you give it to Julia Hart. But it's going to be a Mercedes.
Okay. I agree with you. I think it's Mercedes, but I want to, because, part of our prediction shows, we'd like to fantasy book and talk and, shoot the shit. What if you have Athena cost Mercedes the match?
I see him in the chat. Yeah. That would be a big boost into what could be really exciting, because then you can go out of your way, because Athena and Mercedes doesn't have to be for the World Championship. It can be for the TBS Championship. So you could technically eliminate both of them out of this tournament.
Yeah.
I actually, low-key, you guys made me change my mind.
I'm thinking Julia Hart wins because of Athena. Yeah. Then when Mercedes has her match against Harley Cameron, the Renegade Twins officially debut with Mercedes, and they cost Athena the match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm changing my mind. Live on camera.
And then here's your easy pick for the tournament, Chris Statlander.
Yeah, and you have Chris Statlander and Toni Storm.
Wrong.
What the hell?
Wrong, but we'll get to that. This is going to be a fun show, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no way.
This is going to be a fun show, ladies and gentlemen, because we are about to drop a bomb. So let's use this to talk about Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne.
Come on, let's have a conversation about it.
Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne wins in shocking fashion.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
So you would have Toni Storm win?
Yes, 1,000%.
Why does Toni Storm need to win?
We're playing flip-flop with the title, with the women's championship. We're going to play flip-flop with it? That's what we're going to do?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
After Toni just put on one of the best matches with Mariah May.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're going to take it off of her?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because Megan Bayne has a little bit of momentum?
Brother, I'm gonna tell you something. Right now, what we are witnessing with Megan Bayne's arrival in AEW right now is literally the greatest introduction that they've had from beginning to
introduction.
Yeah, Megan Bayne has literally just come out of nowhere.
She's been there.
Billy. We are talking about Megan Bayne coming back from Stardom, being introduced to the AEW roster. Aside from that gauntlet match or whatever the fuck it was called, aside from that, Megan Bayne has been on a tear, an absolute tear. She is literally laying everybody out. She is running the women's division. She is literally getting the Brock Lesnar treatment of the women's division. It's a smooth and great introduction. I understand, Megan. I understand, chat, that Megan Bayne was in AEW before, but then she went on an excursion to Stardom, and then she came back. So since coming back, she has literally dominated for AEW's women's division.
So you're telling me that we're going to take the title off of Toni Storm?
Yes.
After 3 weeks of Megan Bayne just going and beating people up.
Yes.
That makes no sense. No, Ango, what you can do is you can have multiple matches with Megan Bayne, correct? Right? Because what you can do is you can build the story a little bit more. You have Megan lose. You then get them at Double or Nothing. Then you can maybe talk about Megan Bayne winning the championship from Toni Storm. Because I'm here to tell you, AEW is not dumb, and they want Megan Bayne to not Megan Bayne. They want Toni Storm to go to All In as the world champion.
Who hurt you, bro? Who hurt you?
Bro, what are you talking about?
It's so emotional. Just relax. Just relax, Billy. Just relax. Megan Bayne shocks the world, dominates Toni Storm. Nobody sees it coming. Toni Storm does not need the belt. Toni Storm is bigger than the belt. Congratulations to Toni Storm, because there are very few people in professional wrestling who are greater than the world championships in their company. There's very few people on my list who I believe this is the case. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, John Cena, Toni Storm, Will Ospreay. In my opinion, those are the names that are bigger than the belt. Toni Storm is such a great character that I actually think her losing the belt to Megan Bayne equals even better storytelling and better positioning for the women's division. But hold on, Billy. Let me give you a little bit of an idea, because we keep talking about predictability. If Megan Bayne, and I'm not talking about a 20-minute, 30-minute match, I'm talking a short match, relatively short match. She goes in and beats Toni Storm. You have now created a new star in your company immediately. And the women's division has not had some sort of... Hold on.
I hear you.
Billy, do not cut me off. We talked about this yesterday, off camera. I said, please don't cut me off. Let me just get my points out, please. All I said was that Toni Storm can drop the belt to Megan Bayne. They have never had an unbeatable force in this women's division. They have never had an unbeatable women's force that is convincingly that good. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné is undefeated, but at the end of the day, that to me doesn't feel like she can't be beaten. The way they have propped up Megan Bayne at this point has literally showed me put the belt on her. And then because of the history between her and Chris Statlander could win the Owen Cup, and then at All In you have Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander. How would people not get excited about that? How can people not get excited about that? We want new stars. Toni Storm is bigger than the belt.
That's fair. Explain, what is your biggest gripe with AEW?
Not creating stars. Not good storytelling.
What's your other biggest gripe?
Not capitalizing on momentum.
No, storylines, right? That's one thing you've complained about before.
Brother, right? This is... Okay, but listen. Okay, hold on. Yes, no. You're right and wrong. Storylines, it depends how you position this, because I say they tell stories, but sometimes I don't think they tell big stories and good stories. What is the underlying condition that the women's division has always had? They've never really had prominent storylines for the women's division. Then we saw Toni Storm and Mariah May deliver an absolutely beautiful storyline. So what I'm trying to tell you is this is your next big storyline. Toni doesn't need the belt. Megan Bayne becomes a star. Toni Storm could go to All In without having to compete for the belt. You could do Toni Storm versus...
You literally have Megan lose strictly based off the fact that you can create a compelling story to have Toni win.
Okay.
Or Megan ultimately win.
That's where I ultimately disagree with you. I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's where I ultimately disagree with you. Because Megan Bayne just came out of nowhere and absolutely laid destruction. She is literally getting the upper hand every single time. So Megan Bayne winning would actually lead to better storytelling. And Toni Storm is a better storyteller without having the belt in her hands. It's even better for Toni Storm.
We're just gonna agree to disagree on this one.
Completely fine. My pick for this match is Megan Bayne over Toni Storm. And with that being said, Julia Hart over Mercedes Mone. Let's move on.
All right, come on.
Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. First round match. It was supposed to be Jay White. Jay White's not in the match.
Yes.
Now we see Kevin Knight's in this match. I feel like this is a waste of time to even talk about. Will Ospreay's winning.
Will Ospreay. Kevin Knight will look very good in this match. But Will Ospreay will win this.
So what happens to Kevin Knight after?
Hopefully they just put him on and they keep him consistently on TV. You have him perform here really well and you just put him on TV and you make him important. Right?
Interesting.
Why? What do you think?
No, I just think that's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Because just putting him on TV is important. But
Okay, so
me just saying Megan Bayne winning... No, Billy. Just let's keep it moving. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Great match. This is going to put a lot of eyes on Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is going to look really good, and he's going to lose. And Will Ospreay is going to lose. I don't think he's going to win the tournament, obviously, but this is going to be Will Ospreay getting very, very far in the tournament. Kevin Knight's going to look good in the process, and yeah,
we can agree there.
Oh wow, shocking. Okay, let's move gears. Let's switch gears. AEW TNT Championship. No time limit. No offensive interference. I'm stupid. No outside interference. Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole.
Okay. Give me Adam Cole.
Looks like we can finally agree.
No way.
Yeah. No.
I'm sure we're about to go on one of them Twitter rants about me.
Somebody's triggered today, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on. Adam Cole should win. Daniel Garcia should lose. Daniel Garcia's TNT Championship has been pretty underwhelming, in my opinion. So,
yeah, for sure.
Time to press the reset button.
Yeah, get the TNT Championship off of him. Put it on Adam Cole. Simple stuff.
Why do I have a feeling that this no outside interference match is going to have a ref bump and then Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong help him?
Oh, I mean, I could see that.
It would be a very big victory for Daniel Garcia, but
it would. But let's be real here. They're going to put it on Adam Cole.
I feel bad for Adam Cole. He's not been presented well in this company. Dude lost all his aura. Don't roll your eyes like that. Don't even look like that. You can't sit here and act like Adam Cole is the same. Adam Cole has never been the same in AEW.
I'm not saying he's the same. I'm not saying that. And you talking about me rolling my eyes, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Adam Cole, tell me, do you agree or disagree? Adam Cole, since the Devil storyline, it's pretty much halted everything about him. It's pretty much killed his AEW career.
I don't know. We do not agree there.
Okay.
Because here in 2 weeks, if they pick it back up, then what are you going to say?
It's called a reset for a reason. You got to press the reset button.
Exactly. You wouldn't say anything. You'll come back here in 2 weeks and be like, "Oh my God, look at Adam Cole."
I would hope so. I would like to think that.
Saying that he lost all his aura is crazy. No,
he did.
It's just you're in it.
Oh, Billy, the guy who loved Undisputed Era in NXT and loved Adam Cole coming to AEW is sitting here and acting like he's been the same. He's not the same. I love the guy. The guy is a great wrestler, great promo, great everything. He's not the same. He's been derailed in this company. Hopefully that gets back on track.
Injuries, you have
for sure. You can add in the injuries. You can factor all that stuff in. It doesn't matter. Even from day one, he's never really been presented as the kind of guy we know he could be. Honest to God, I'm telling you right now, I'm not bullshitting you. This guy, I need him to win. I need them to get him back on track. So hopefully in 2 weeks I could come back. Hopefully they press the reset button. So in 2 weeks I could come back on this live stream, Billy, and I could sit here and be like, "Yep, thank God they pressed the reset button."
We know that's what you would do.
Wouldn't you want that to happen, or would you want me to be like, "Oh my God, they continue to fucking ruin him"?
I don't think that they've necessarily ruined him. That's where we disagree. He's fighting for the TBS championship.
TBS championship. So now you're calling Adam Cole a woman. No,
Hey, everybody, don't make a mistake on Ango's show. It's the TNT championship.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to hear. Good job, Billy. Silly Billy being silly yet again. I love it. It's so good. Yeah, Daniel Garcia, just unfortunately, I feel like they ruined that title reign. I don't feel like it's been a good title reign. And press the reset button yet again. I do think Adam Cole having the belt, though, would be pretty meaningful considering everything else has not been meaningful.
Agreed.
Cool. All right, let's move on. Death Riders versus Rated FTR. So Yuta, Claudio, and Pac versus Rated FTR World Trios Championship. Billy, silly Billy, the floor is yours.
I mean, we're obviously going to see FTR turn. I would say that you would have the Death Riders win this.
You think they retain?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you like, and be honest with me, would you like to see Rated FTR win the belt? Because you were talking about the stories aspect, right? Would you like them to win the belt and continue to teasing the breakup and stuff, or would you just have them flat out do it here?
I mean, I would be fine kind of with either or. If you want to turn them here, I don't think it's the worst mistake that they'd ever make. But overall, I can also see them kind of extending the storyline a little bit. But this is one of those times where I think like you can do the turn here and it be okay.
Yeah.
That's just this guy.
What? I'm just saying, yeah. I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, you are so triggered. What the hell? Relax, bro. Relax.
I'm relaxed. I'm chilling.
You just hit your mic. That's how I know you're not chilling. Just relax. Death Riders.
This guy loves to tell me to relax.
Death Riders should win. And I think Tony Khan should just get rid of the trios belts.
We can agree there. Those belts haven't had a lot of meaning in a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. Yeah, I don't want to waste any more time on that. Actually, let's talk about the breakup though. You think FTR fully turns heel on Copeland, or do you think Dash and Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood?
I think yeah. So I think they'll both turn.
You think they both turn?
Yeah.
It's
because they're not gonna break up FTR.
They just constantly tease it with Dax Harwood, so it's like not so much with Wheeler, but.
Yeah, again, at the end of the day, he's always going to pick his brother.
Yeah.
It's like human nature, People have human nature. Did you know that, Ango?
All right, moving on. International Championship match, Kenny Omega, Mike Bailey, Ricochet.
Kenny Omega. What the?
No, I'm thinking. Everything is triggering you, bro. Relax.
What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking of a fantasy booking idea that I had that I was trying to remember, and it just so happened now that I remembered it.
Okay.
It would be kind of cool being that it's a triple threat match. I don't think it would happen. I do think Kenny is retaining. Obviously, we have talked about All In, Kenny, and Okada. But because I just love shockers and surprises. And as much as I hate his promos and I don't like him, I do wonder if there could be something really fun here between Ricochet potentially winning. And the reason why I say that is because if Ricochet were to pull off the win with his heel gimmick that I absolutely hate, it could work for Ricochet to win by a fluke, kind of, and then eventually drop the belt back to Kenny, and then Kenny can go on to Okada at All In.
What the hell? You don't actually think that's going to happen, right?
No, I didn't say I didn't think. As I mentioned, I said my prediction is Kenny. Okay. I'm just saying it was a fantasy booking idea.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I think we have to be realistic here. And the realistic side is that that's not going to happen because we've talked about it numerous times on this stream. That Kenny and Okada will face off and they will merge those championships.
For sure, but you're telling me you can't have Kenny win it back?
Why the hell would you do that?
Ricochet would be pretty funny to watch because of his character. Winning by a fluke, and then eventually I
just think it's simple. You can have him go into a feud with Speedball Mike Bailey. I don't know. That's the very simple side of it. I don't think he needs to win the championship here now that they've added Speedball, because at the end of the day, what would have been the point of adding Speedball then?
Yeah,
there would have been no point. He's just going to go back into a feud with Kenny.
Listen, we know that Okada and Kenny's the long-term vision. It's so predictable. Can you do things in the meantime to make it a little fun and a little more interesting? Because All In is not until July. But hey, no, Billy just wants to watch the same old boring shit, I guess. All right, cool. Chat, am I missing a match? Because the next match that we have is the World Championship match. And did I miss any super chats? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay.
Oh Lord.
I don't think I've missed a match. Is there a match that I'm missing, Billy?
I don't think so. God, hopefully we get to the main event.
Oh, Kyle Fletcher versus Briscoe is on the card. Is that official? That is official?
It's on the card?
They officially announced it? Because I didn't write that down.
Yeah, it's official.
It is official. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think my prediction for this is really easy. I think we should just kind of call it what it is. I think Mark Briscoe's awesome, and I would love for Mark Briscoe to win, but I think Kyle Fletcher is the GOAT, and I would have Kyle Fletcher go as far as possible. But it seems like every time I do a prediction show or a live stream with Billy, I'm often talking about Kyle Fletcher.
You guys want to see me trigger Ango?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, give me Mark Briscoe.
I like Mark Briscoe, so that's not going to trigger me. Interesting.
Shock the world.
Myra dropped to $4.99. Let's throw that up on the screen. I just opened up Cubase Pro by accident.
This guy wants to make music now.
No. Let's close that out so it's not. She goes, did I miss something? Myra says, did I miss something? I've been the only one. I mean, how so? We're just having really good conversation.
That's it.
I mean, if you're talking about Billy's behavior, I think today really...
What's wrong with my behavior?
Billy, just relax, bro. Just have some fun.
Bro.
Just have some fun.
I'm chilling.
Have some fun. Bro, it's just two buddies talking about wrestling. It's not that deep. You don't have to insult me all the time.
I'm not insulting you. What?
Oh my God, bro. Amazing. Shout out to Myra for the super chat. I can't believe you just spent $4.99 to tell us that. But we appreciate you. Thank you, Myra.
For sure. Absolutely. Thank you.
Billy's a good guy. I like Billy. Billy's a good guy. Billy's a good guy. Billy's a very passionate guy. And when you're passionate, sometimes you just let the emotions out a little bit. That's fine.
Yeah, bro, because I just naturally don't agree with what you say, and, things happen, right? We're allowed to disagree. Again, that's a human nature thing.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Human nature, right?
Yeah. Let's talk. Shout out to Myra for the super chat. Thank you, Myra.
Thank you, Myra.
Billy, I don't know if you've been paying attention to your stream. Like, I don't know, because it doesn't pop up on my end. Did you have any super chats on your channel or anything?
No.
Okay, no problem. I just
no super chat on my channel.
Okay, no problem.
I'm not as special as you. Sorry.
What?
Go ahead. Keep going.
What?
Just go ahead. Keep going.
Oh my god. All right, bro. Main event time. Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. Billy, the floor is yours.
Give me Swerve all day long. I think Swerve is definitely the way to go here. I think they're going to do Swerve and Hangman at All In. So I'm taking Swerve. I see some people in the chat. Swerve's house. That is correct. Because again, we talked about it yesterday. It was one of the biggest things. It was the sympathy factor on why I do believe that Swerve is going to be the guy who is essentially going to save AEW. Although I know Mr. Ango over here disagrees with me and does not feel the exact same way. We'll see about his prediction and what he has to say. But overall, I think the best route here is for Swerve to take this championship, run with it, bring it back outside of the briefcase, and go to All In with the championship, and him and Hangman. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think it's funny because you said I would disagree with you, but as me and you have both talked about yesterday, Swerve is not this incredible baby face that's like on the chase or whatever. Whatever. You guys saw the stream yesterday. My point that I am making, though, that I want to throw out here, is that for me personally, I think the best move would be to have Swerve win. I agree with Billy that Swerve should win because I'm tired of the Death Rider storyline. Not because I think Swerve is the right guy throughout this entire chase, whatever it may be. To be honest with you, I've been saying this for months. I don't care about the Death Rider storyline. I think it sucks. I don't think Jon Moxley has been.
They've gotten it back. They need to kill it off. I can agree with you there. I just think your definition of killing it off would be, doing it the next day when essentially that's not what should happen.
No, I don't even think you wait 24 hours. You do it right away.
No.
Well, I think deep down inside, the Death Rider storyline has been terrible. It's the one thing that every week I watch AEW and I'm like, damn, these shows for the past month have been great. I'm not sold on the Death Rider storyline, so Swerve should win. I do agree that Swerve and Hangman Page, I did say yesterday, it's my favorite feud that AEW has ever presented, right next to Kenny and Hangman. Those two storylines are my favorite storylines that AEW has ever crafted. I think those guys are absolutely incredible. I think Swerve and Hangman will be an amazing main event match at All In.
Yeah, but your problem is that you don't think Swerve deserves to be the guy.
No, I don't think, and it goes back to what I said yesterday, Billy, if you were paying attention. So let me just make this one point. Yesterday, hold on, Billy. I
promise you I was paying attention.
Okay, so let me just make this really clear, really clear for you to understand. I said that Swerve is a great champion for AEW, and there's a couple guys in the company, if you want to press the reset button for the World Championship picture, Swerve is one of those guys. I think the way the Death Rider storyline was introduced was this is a company takeover, and I was saying yesterday on stream they should have a massive babyface who's like an OG day one AEW guy save the company from the Death Riders.
Swerve
is not that guy.
Bro,
Swerve is a great champion. Swerve is not that guy. All right.
He is.
I don't agree with that, and that's completely fine, but that was my point. That was my point that I was making. So put it this way, my prediction is quite simple. Obviously, if I had it my way, this wouldn't be the situation for the main event, but this is the main event. This is what it is. Swerve should walk out as champion. Death Rider should completely end, killed off. Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir should stick together, do their own thing after. And then on top of that, I think the best thing they could do is get rid of those trios belts. Yuta, Claudio, and Pac all go their own separate ways, do their own thing.
No.
Oh my God. So yeah, that's my prediction. We did get a super chat, and by the way, I have a little bit of a topic to discuss, kind of formulating from Dynasty. But there was a super chat. Brad Silberberg says night 1 or night 2 Ango versus Billy. Bro, we're gonna be a tag team forever. At the end of the day, that's what we're gonna be. Me and Billy will be a tag team forever. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Shout out to Brad Silberberg for the super chat. Thank you, buddy. So let me just ask you a quick question, Billy. This is an important question based on your prediction and my prediction, because we both agree that Swerve should win. So today's news comes out that Darby Allin is climbing Mount Everest on April 15th. I've never climbed Mount Everest. I don't know if how long that takes. I don't know what the thing is. Obviously it's highly risky, but I'm just asking you, like, legitimately, where do you place Darby Allin in this situation? Because it was reported when Bryan was holding the belt that Darby was going to be a champion at some point. So in your eyes, we both want Swerve. What do you do with Darby? Do you put Darby in the back end of things until
Yes,
whenever?
He hasn't been on TV. You just put him in the back end of things. It's a very simple topic here, Ango. What? I don't know what's so funny.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
What's so funny?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? I mean, you asked me a question.
I just think, it goes back to what I was saying about Swerve and not being the OG AEW guy,
Myra super chatted
$19.99. Hold on. There's a super chat we just got in.
How much longer does Mercedes hold the TBS title? Will TK finally drop the Death Riders storyline? TK dropped the ball as a boss by letting Darby take time off. He should be the one to dethrone Moxley, but here we are. Woman shrugging emoji.
Thank you, Myra, for the super chat. Billy, really quick, the super chat from Myra was, how much longer does Mercedes hold the TBS title? Will TK finally drop the Death Rider storyline? TK dropped the ball as a boss by letting Darby take time off. He should be the one to dethrone Moxley, but here we are. So look, there's somebody who actually agrees with me, as I've been saying. It should be an OG AEW person who saves the company from a takeover. However...
And I told you that Swerve can be that guy.
But he isn't that guy. Can be, will be, doesn't matter. He isn't that guy. That's the problem. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. But let's keep looking at the super chat. Myra says, how much longer does Mercedes hold the TBS title? Because you seem to disagree with me earlier a little bit on the whole situation I was saying with Megan Bayne and Toni Storm. And then we were talking about Athena and Mercedes. So we both kind of agreed it would be fun, right? You said it. You agreed with me. Athena cost Mercedes the match at Dynasty. And then, of course, you can have Mercedes cost Athena, in her match for the Owen Cup. What are we doing here? Mercedes holds the TBS title and feuds with Athena for the TBS title. Winner takes all. Yeah. What are you thinking?
Yeah, something like that at All In.
At All In, you're saying?
Yes.
So what about Double or Nothing? What do you do for Mercedes?
At Double or Nothing, you just put her in a match with somebody, like Megan Bayne losing, and then maybe you do something like that.
That's crazy. The fact that you really want Megan Bayne to lose is crazy. But hey, it is what it is.
God forbid, everybody. I disagree.
No, it's fine. It's just I think sometimes you disagree on things, but before you and I have had conversations, you've talked about this with me about AEW creating new stars. Megan Bayne comes in and she lays destruction, and it's like, why not tell that story?
Also, guys, you're still creating a new star
by losing. You're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't always have to win to be a star.
I think that is true. Do you believe TK dropped the ball as a boss by letting Darby take time off?
What?
The question is in the super chat. TK dropped the ball as a boss by letting Darby take time off, so he could go and climb Mount Everest. That's the point.
No, I don't.
Can you expand on that?
More or less, it's like Darby is, I don't know, somebody who had a mission, he had a goal, and we've known about this goal for a very long time, right? You can't necessarily predict timing, right? We just wanted to go climb Mount Everest. Whatever. Things happen.
Do you understand how severe that is?
Going to climb Mount Everest?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous task.
So we can only go off of reports, obviously, but when the report came out several months ago that Darby is slated for a world championship run, and then he decides to go climb Mount Everest, does that make you think differently?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Myra, I agree with you. I think he should be the one to dethrone Moxley. And I'm not even a fan of him, to be honest, but I do think he should be the one to dethrone Moxley because he is that AEW OG. He is the guy that eats, sleeps, breathes, bleeds AEW. Well, I guess kind of. I mean, he did choose to climb Mount Everest over becoming a world champion, I guess. So, yeah. Shout out to Myra for the super chat. Thank you. Phil dropping a $4.99. He says, I think...
Hold on. I actually got a super chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's from Sir from the Six. He said that I am special. Sir from the Six. Thank you. Other people wouldn't fully agree, but that's okay.
Why not?
I don't know. Sir from the Six definitely thinks I'm special. You know what I'm saying? He's over there hanging out on my channel. Thank you for the love.
Good guy.
And I see Trey in the chat. Thank you.
For sure. Shout out to those guys. Sir from the Six, thank you for dropping a super chat on Billy's channel. Which, by the way, guys, if you're not subscribed to Billy, make sure you guys do so at Billy TKO. Phil coming in with a $4.99. He says, I think Swerve should win, but I'm going Mox. I want Hangman to be the guy to save AEW from Death Riders and beat Mox at All In. So, I mean, I definitely don't disagree with that, man. I think Hangman would be a wonderful world champion. As I stated on yesterday's stream, Hangman is also the other guy that if he was positioned as a babyface, you know, you can't take the elite out of AEW, baby. Hangman Page, he's been there since day one. I said it yesterday. He should have been. Hold on, Billy. Hold on. I said that Hangman should have been positioned like AEW's version of Cody. They haven't done that. I'm not saying Hangman is bad, by the way, in a heel role. I love it. But in this particular situation, with how bad the Death Riders thing is, I would have preferred to see Hangman being that ultimate babyface. We didn't get that, but I would not be opposed to Hangman versus Mox. But I'm not waiting until All In for the Death Riders thing to end. So the truth is, I would like to see that end relatively soon. And yeah, that's why I had to pick Swerve, because I just wanted to do that.
Okay.
What do you think? You don't agree with Phil?
No. I agree that I think Swerve should win for sure. I just don't think that Hangman will be the guy. I understand wanting is one thing. Having it happen is a completely different thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Phil for the super chat. I think it's a good idea, but it just sucks. I'm not waiting till All In for Mox to drop the belt. Literally, like I've been saying, last 4 or 5 weeks of AEW television, Dynamite and Collision have been amazing. Really good stuff. Not happy with the direction of Death Riders. So, shout out to Phil. A. Jackson dropping $4.99. You two are reminding me of old JD and Joe Crone, and work it out of the stream. Work it out off stream, boys. You two work perfect together. Billy gets triggered quick and understandable. I'm
chilling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, man, we're the tag team, best tag team out there. I don't know. I never watched JD and Cronin. I don't know.
Me either. A. Jackson actually dropped one over on my channel too. He said, "Stay positive, Billy." I appreciate it, brother. I'm chilling. Like I said, I'm chilling.
Stay positive.
Yep. I don't know why people don't think I'm positive, but okay.
Probably has something to do with the fact that you're, you know what? Never mind, bro. Never mind.
What? No, what?
No,
say
never
it.
mind. No, never
No,
mind.
say it.
Never mind,
Say it.
Billy.
Say what you were going to say.
No. No, it's okay. So yeah, my prediction. Shout out to all of you guys.
This
for
guy
loves
this guy. I'm sorry.
Billy. We got a show to run.
It's getting me to a point. Bro, I get it, but it's getting me to a point because you're talking about it off stream, this and that. Let's talk about it right here. Let's have a conversation about it, Ango.
A conversation about what, bro? We got a show to run.
I get it. We have a show to run. You're telling me to chill out. You're telling me to do all of these things, and it's really starting to agitate me.
Starting to what?
It's starting to agitate me. This guy's laughing. See, this is that dumb shit that I'm talking about.
Yo, Billy just walked off the stream. Billy, come back, bro. Billy. All right, bro. Okay. Guys, shout What just happened, bro? What just happened? Oh my god, that was funny. Okay, I don't know, bro. Billy's he literally walked off stream. This is great. Billy, come back. Please come back. Billy, come back. Oh my god, that is so funny. All right, I don't know what he's agitated about, bro. We literally have been doing this forever. You're gonna agree and disagree on some shit. All I want is just not to be talked over all the time, but it is what it is. I'll try to get him back, but those are the predictions, guys. Make sure you go and subscribe to Billy. I don't know what he's mad about, but go ahead and subscribe to him at Billy TKO. He's on TikTok and everything, and yeah, I'll see you guys Monday or Sunday. I don't know where my co-host just went. But all right, guys, I'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you all for showing up. This is weird. So kind of awkward too.